What's up, everyone? This is this what it is? And I'm your host, Gunvid. What the fuck is up? Huh? Alright, we're back again. You know, that last episode got deleted because I was talking mad shit. You know what I'm saying? Really, I was speaking the truth, but you know, you can't handle the truth. So that's what happens. That's what happens, man. YouTube took the video down. And you know what? I wasn't even mad they took the video down because I was like, you know, as a person who's really petty, that's what I strive for. You know? I strive to be fucking penalized for notorious activities. But anyway, motherfucker, I'm back. Yeah, you know, it's a chapter in my life. This podcast is a chapter in my life. And you know, moving on. All this shit. Fuck out of here, nigga. What? But I'm happy I took a break from the podcast because, like, you know, had to get some shit done. I just had to take a second to chill and reflect on life and this and that and that and this. You know? Alright, what's it called? Let me light up this joint. Get my day started. You know? This is 1 o'clock. I'm getting my day started, nigga. That's why. Cause I feel like it. Nigga, it's mad hot outside. It's 92 degrees today. It's 92 degrees. But it's not as hot as it was on my birthday. Nigga, on my birthday, it was mad hot. I'm like, yo, nigga, I'm out here fucking dying, bro. I was getting scorched. I was getting scorched by the sun. Pause, or whatever. But yeah, I was like, you know what? I didn't even fucking care. I was like, whatever, you know? I went for a good walk in Manhattan. I was like, yeah, you know, I'm due for one of these days going for a walk around Manhattan. Manhattan is such a fucking dope place, especially for art. It's like, yo, nigga, there's so much to be inspired by. There's so much history. I was in the museum, and that day was very special. I don't know if it was because of my birthday, and I was like, you know, just like trying to make the most out of my day. But I was looking at the artworks, and I was just learning so much. Not just about the artist and wherever they're from, but just learning so much about life and being inspired by all the great artworks at the Met Museum. And then I went to shit. And then I went to some art galleries, and that was really dope. It's always cool to see what the new artists are doing and my contemporary artists, meaning the artists living in my time period, and even some older artists. There's some great Picasso artworks in some of these galleries. You gotta find them. It's like the more high-end galleries, but like, you know, what I like most about Picasso's artworks are the simple artworks, like drawings of birds that are like not really so detailed. They're done very simple, but it's like very pure art. Like you just draw a bird with nothing else around it, no landscape, nothing, and it's just like so dope because it's like, you know, you think about it and you think, oh, anyone could do this, but like, nah, it's not. It's that person's unique artwork, what they did at that moment in history. It was made by them. And even if it looks like someone else could do it, they can't. You can't do that. Like, even if it's like a simple drawing of a bird, you cannot replicate it and have the lines be exactly how Picasso drew it. Even if you have a printer, like a computer printer that prints the artwork, it's not going to be the same because first off, it's not the original artwork, it's a reproduction. And, you know, the materials used is not going to be the same. Like, you know, it's going to be painted on. Or even if you have some type of printer that can draw whatever you put into the system, the lines, they're not going to be exactly the same. Like, some part of it is going to be off. And even if it isn't, it's still not the original. So that shows you that as an individual, as a person who is a one of one, whoever is listening to this, your artwork is unique. You know, everyone, we have our own fingerprint. So don't worry about being like no one else. None of that shit. You know, if you want to create something new, go ahead, and just know that you can be as great as you want to be in life. It's all in your mind. Everything is in your mind. And so with that being said, you know, yesterday we had a lot of great fights. So we had Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dibois. And then we had Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. It was their third fight. Max Holloway won by decision. I'll get into that fight later. And then you had Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao. Many punches. I throw many punch. We used to make fun of Pacquiao. I don't feel like doing the whole accent right now. I mean, I don't feel like doing an imitation of Manny right now. But yeah, it's mad funny. Me and my friend used to like not really make fun of him, but like imitate his accent. That nigga's mad funny. He's like, yeah, throw many punches. Whatever. Yeah, you know, his fight went to a draw, and I heard a lot of people saying they thought he won. But anyway, yeah, he's just one of the greatest of all time. And from my perspective, I've never seen him test positive for steroids. So it's like, people say, okay, Manny Pacquiao, after he started doing the blood test or whatever, the upgraded test, he hasn't knocked anyone out since. But it's like, yeah, you know, he's also older since that happened. So it's like, I don't know. I can't call someone a steroid user just because they stop getting knockouts. You know, that's not proof for me. It's definitely suspicious. I'll say that. You know, I just got to be honest. Yeah, I'm a Manny Pacquiao fan. You know, I'm a fan of his boxing, but it's like, I got to call it how it is. That is suspicious, but I can't take him out the top 20 boxers of all time just because he stopped getting knockouts. So there's that. And, he's like an 8 division world champion. And I don't think anyone else has been even close to that. So you got to give credit where it's due. And he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Regardless of how his next fights go. So I want to get back to the Usyk versus Dibois fight. So in the build-up to the fight, Dibois seemed very nervous, and even more nervous than he was leading up to the first fight, because it's easy to be confident against someone when you haven't felt the power of their punch, and how, not just that, how good they are skill-wise. Alexander Usyk, I put him in the top 10. I put him as number 6 in my top 10 boxers of all time. And I put up the whole list. I got a top 20 boxer list that I made last night because Usyk won that fight. And I was like, okay, now I think he's in the top 10 boxers of all time for what he's done in his career. So I made my top 20 list and I posted it on the Is This What It Is page on YouTube. So you can check that out. I'm also going to post it on Instagram soon. But yeah, so I put him on that list because... All right, let's get back to Daniel Dubois being nervous. So yeah, he was super nervous in the build-up for the second fight. And yeah, he was talking like he was confident, but he said he had to make it chaos in there, and he had to make it like a, like that kind of fight, to where it's not just all about skill, because he knew from that first fight he wasn't as skilled as Usyk, and there was, he couldn't make up for that skill gap from the time they last fought to now. So he just knew, he just believed that he has to go for the knockout. And that ended up going against him, because he ended up being, he wasn't setting up his punches as much. He was just trying to push Usyk into the corner and then land a knockout punch. But then it went against him, because when you put a fighter like Usyk, who's as great of a counterpuncher as Usyk is, and then you go for the knockout, you end up getting caught. And then that's what happened. Dubois got caught. I think it was the left hook. And then Usyk, he said it wasn't a left hook. He called it an Ivan punch. He said Ivan is like a name of a Ukrainian guy. It's like a Ukrainian name, which is like usually a guy who's like, from the village and very polos, like a big guy and strong, and he it's more of like a kind of like a overhand, but like a mix of an overhand and a hook. So he said that's what he hit him with, and then so he hit him with that, and then Dubois got dropped, and then he got up, and then soon after that, Usyk, he went for the knockout, and he got it. And got him with a great punch. And so yeah, that made me think, okay, is he in the top 10? I was like, I don't know if he's top 10. And then so I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, maybe he's top 20. And I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, he's definitely top 20. And then I was like, okay, he's definitely top 20, but is he in the top 10? And then I started thinking about everyone who I have ranked as the greatest fighters. And I didn't really have much of a list before then. I didn't really have much of a top 20 list. But then I was like, okay, let me make this list. Boom. So I'm making the list, and then I put Jack Johnson number 1, Muhammad Ali number 2, Mike Tyson number 3, Sugar Ray Robinson number 4. Then I had Floyd Mayweather number 5, because I think it's more difficult for a heavyweight to be great, because it's easier to get knocked out by a heavyweight because they have more power. So it's like you gotta be even way better to be a great heavyweight fighter than it does to be Mayweather. Not saying that people with this weight don't have power, but heavyweights definitely have more power. So I got Mayweather at 5, right? And then I put Alexander Usyk number 6. So I was thinking about Tyson Fury or Usyk, but I was like, Usyk already won against Fury twice, right? So like, boom. So I'm like, okay, so Usyk is in the top 10. So I have Usyk at number 6, and then Tyson Fury number 7, and then the list goes on from there. I don't want to think about, like, I don't want to try to remember who I had after that. But yeah, I think my top 20 list makes a lot of sense, and maybe you could argue about the order of the list, but I was thinking about my top 20 list, right? And I was like, I don't really know too many other fighters that I could really put in this list above anyone else that I had. Like, it's very, like, you know, my list is pretty just perfect, I think. So, yeah, comment below, who do you think is the who is in your top 20 list of greatest boxers of all time? And maybe next episode I'll do the top 20 MMA fighters list, not just UFC but all of MMA, and that's gonna be good because I'm gonna have to really think about that. I don't even feel like thinking about it right now because it's gonna take a lot of time, and you know. But yeah, and I'm not looking at records. I'm just thinking about what they did in their career and how great they are skill-wise, you know? So that's my criteria of my list. Because if you're just going by records, there's undefeated fighters that have more wins than Floyd Mayweather, but their level of competition wasn't as great. You know, I think there's fighters that are like fucking 87-0 or some shit like that, but they didn't fight as many great fighters as Floyd. So there's that. So yeah, maybe next episode I'll have my top 20 MMA fighters list. That'd be cool. And then so yeah, there's that. And let's get to the next fight that I want to talk about. So I didn't watch the fight, so I wasn't not able to really make a breakdown as far as who I thought won the fight or whatever, but yeah, Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier 3, and it was a great fight. You know, actually looking at them after the fight, Dustin Poirier did more damage, you know? But people were saying they thought Max Holloway won 4 rounds, if not 5 rounds, and it shouldn't have been a split decision. So I'm like, that's how you know it's a great fight, because it's like, you got, from the optics, one fighter do more damage. Like Dustin Poirier, you know, he definitely bruised up Max Holloway more than he did him. So it's like, you got that, but then you got people still saying that Holloway won more rounds, like a lot more. So it's like, that's interesting. So, but what I will say is, Dustin Poirier is a great fighter, and he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And you know, he's a fighter that you could really learn from as far as technique and how to go through a career the right way. He's never been tested positive for steroids, so that's a big deal for pure fans like me. and he knocked out Conor McGregor, and not a lot of people have done that. Actually, he's probably the only one. So, yeah, that's a great achievement. So, hey, congrats to Dustin Poirier on a legendary career. And he got nothing to be ashamed of. He's arguably in the top 20. I'm going to have to consider him being on the list, even though he never became undisputed champion. He did become the interim champion, and the belt was vacated at that point. So he didn't technically win a undisputed title, but he should have technically been a champion, and that would have changed his confidence, and that could have changed the trajectory of his whole career. Because it's like when Dominic Reyes, they said he should have won against John Jones. When you become a champion, it raises your confidence and your will to win, so it's like when you get robbed of that changes your whole career, and that has to be considered when people are ranking you as far as being in the conversation of being the greatest fighter of all time. So excuse me, there's that. And yeah, so I'm back. It's good to be back. And I'm thinking about it. I'm really excited for this next football season. Let's see how this goes. Jets, we got a new young quarterback. This is what the fans wanted. So I'm really interested to see how good the Jets could do, with Fields. So let's go Jets and all that. So if you appreciated this episode, hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe. This is this what it is? And I'm your host, Gunvid.